My name is Nonima Tikela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about Baloyi's cross-examination because wow, Sana, we'll come back to other matters, but let's focus. Now, Ubaloyi did the cross-examination in a way that felt like when he started, I thought he was not going to ask any questions. And I'm glad that he did 1 2 1 2 and then was done because there was absolutely nothing to ask. They were exposed. That is the real truth. They were exposed, period. So yesterday, what he tried to do, the cross-examination that Baloyi did there, it was extremely revealing because the prosecution was trying to separate two things. One, whether the witness now denies knowledge of the matter, and two, whether the police were justified in acting on information allegedly contained in the statement. Okay, the state's wording is very strategic. Ne? When the prosecutor says the ship has sailed, your denials are irrelevant because the police have acted on the information. My God. That is not really about proving the witness is truthful. It is about preserving the investigative value of the statement, even while the witness is distancing himself from it in court. That is what Baloyi was doing there. The prosecution appears to be saying whether you deny it today or not, police already used the information. Suspects were arrested, investigation followed, therefore the statement had operational consequences. But legally, that creates a major problem. The defense position throughout this trial has been a statement cannot become reliable because police acted on it. Arrests do not prove truthfulness. Investigative action is not proof of guilt. If the source witness rejects the contents, authenticity becomes critical. And this is where the cross-examination becomes dangerous for the state. The witness is only confirming neutral biographical facts that he knows Absalom Zungu, they are relatives, they are from KwaNongoma. And yes, he talks about the meeting, the 2017 situation, right? But the meeting of Constable Zungu, how he was sent to go and fetch him, he corroborates that. But he does not confirm the murder knowledge, accused involvement, conspiracy details, alleged confessions, or incriminating claims. That distinction is very crucial. The state is effectively trying to use the confirmed safe parts of the statement to indirectly strengthen the disputed parts. Now, that is not helping us. The defense strategy will likely be, yes, relatives know each other, but that does not authenticate the entire statement. That is why repeated references to the ship has sailed, police acted on the information, the denials are irrelevant, can actually backfire big time for Mr. Baloyi. Because courts do not determine truth by asking, did police act on it? They ask, is the evidence reliable, admissible, and properly authenticated? That's what they ask. Sorry, the question that is left is, why did Gininda not go to Mbekiseni? When Gininda got this information from Mr. Zungu, whom denies that it happens, why didn't he go to Mbekiseni? Because Mbekiseni never dealt with Gininda. Gininda went on and write things in. My God. That is exactly what happened there. Now, and this trial authenticity becomes a battlefield. Who authored statements, who translated them, who interpreted them, were witnesses properly interviewed, were statements contaminated, were police feeding information, were witnesses simply signing documents. What was happening? This specific exchange strengthens the defense narrative that the state is trying to preserve an investigation after witnesses have begun distancing themselves from the contents. Another important moment is when the prosecutor carefully narrows the witness into confirming only the family relationships. That tells you something strategically. The state may no longer be fully confident defending, they may no longer be fully confident defending the entire statement. So it tries salvaging the portions that can still survive scrutiny. That is what Baloyi only did there. Now, the problem is partial confirmation of background details does not automatically validate incriminating allegations. It doesn't. That is a massive evidential gap right there. And the judge will eventually have to decide whether the incriminating portions are genuinely from the witness, or whether only the harmless factual portions are reliable. That is why the testimony of Mbekiseni matters far beyond just, are you relatives? It goes directly to statement integrity, contamination concerns, and whether investigators built a case on unstable foundations. And that is what Baloyi is unwilling to accept. That is exactly what Baloyi is unwilling to accept. And now, whether he likes it or not, things are not looking good for him. Things are not looking good for him, and it's bad. Oh, it's hectic. It's very bad, Shem. There is nothing that he can do. It's bad. It's bad. Honestly. So I don't know how he is planning to, because the way he came in, I thought he was going to tell this guy that you are irrelevant. There's nothing that we can do about your evidence, etc. And that's where he ends. As a result, I don't have any questions for this witness, my lord. No, he went as far as asking him questions about the family tree. He went as far as asking questions, and I was like, didn't you say he's irrelevant? If he is so irrelevant, why ask him? Because he could have also got up and said, I have no questions for this witness. No, nothing has sailed. Ugininda must still come and explain why didn't he investigate Mbekiseni? Why didn't he take any statements from Mbekiseni? Now, Ikesiabo is on the floor because now it matters. Why, when you heard things about from Ubabu Absalom Zungu Espeyo, what you say, Gininda, if you heard things from him, why was Mbekiseni not asked these questions? Why? That is a big ask. Gininda needs to make sure that makes sense. If how he is going to do that, I don't know, but it needs to be studied very carefully, that part. He's the one that came to court and told the court that Mbekiseni is the one that gave information. So now Mbekiseni is telling us, I don't even know who I choose number one. Oh, for that matter, Mbekiseni does not even know all the accused except for Brother Wike. It sounds, or it looks like Mbekiseni is also older. He doesn't know the accused. They are young. And he was already in Mpumalanga. The only reason he knows his brother is because brother, just like me, there are so many people that I don't know in my village who are old. I don't know them. I don't know them. And when people speak about them, I'll be like, Ubanlo, Guapa, you are unmass. There is also a cousin of mine who left home long time ago, who came back a few years back. I didn't know him, but I was only hearing the name. So it happens. It's true. It happens. They can't come here and act as if these things don't happen. No, they do. They do. I don't know about you guys, but I see that a lot is happening at once, and we are yet to see izinto ezinkulu kule case. What are your thoughts? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. I'll see you on our next video. Bye-bye.